This one's called Pain and Hope. Pain can be experienced in numerous ways, but it's hard to describe. Pain can lead many down a path which they may not escape from. For some, it can help them realize something important. For me, pain has always been a double-edged sword, for it left me broken and tired. So damn tired. And yet here I am. I've managed to make it to my 18th birthday, but there's still so much happening. So many things have left me with scars that I hide away from others. Pain taught me that I'm still here, that I'm alive and still fighting, even if it feels more like I'm hanging on by a thread. Pain left me to wonder if I still mattered, if I'm still loved. I became so numb yet so aware of where I am. It left me to wonder if anyone truly cared, who was willing to look past the mask and see the poor broken soul underneath. I wanted to live, but at the same time, what was there for me? Pain reminded me of my naivety and broke my reality. To live two different lives tore me apart. Left me on the edge and with a decision. Fate and destiny were things that I'd given up on. Pain left me scarred and exhausted. Yet, hope still drove me forward. Despite everything, a shimmer or a tiny spark still resided within me and gave me something to fight for. Despite my struggle, there have always been people who've brought me back because they accepted who I was, and this made me feel like I had a different family from the one I grew up with. Despite the pain, hope still drives me. Hope has come in the form of the ones that matter. They gave me a chance to have hope, despite all of the pain and anger that resides in this broken soul. Maybe I can find something within this broken soul, like peace. But all I ask of you is to keep fighting, that you find the hope to move forward. For those who feel like they are on their own, maybe you can use this pain to help someone else too, for we all have so much to live for. I wrote that piece when I was 18 years old. Actually, on my 18th birthday. And by the time this comes out, I'll be 23, 5 years later. The reason why I wrote this piece was I'd gone through a lot of tough times, a lot of dark times. But that time was probably one of the darkest I've ever been in. Because that was the day where I nearly took my own life. It was one of those things that it took me a while to process for quite some time. I was still taking it in that I nearly went through with that. And it's still hard to look back on that day, especially where it nearly happened. I could still see that version of me that was there, my past self, the self that was overwhelmed and struggling with so much there. I was terrified, scared, alone. No one knew what I was doing that day. You know, a day that's supposed to be a huge occasion, turning 18. Me, I had to deal with a lot of other things. My brain switched, felt like no one really cared. No one gave a damn. I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I was so overwhelmed. That day, I remember what I was doing that day. Left the house, walked around while I was getting messages of happy birthday. I was just in my head, struggling. I was at that point where I couldn't think straight. I couldn't ground myself at that time. And it's still a lot to look back on that, especially it's come up to 5 years. Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be 5 years already since that day. On my 18th birthday, when I get to 23, it'll be 5 years. I still remember that younger me just sat down on a bench overlooking everything, just shaken, overwhelmed. It's one of those things I attempted, but it was one of those things I needed attempted, to be fair, because if I had attempted, there would be no failsafe. It was that bad. And there's still a lot to look back on it, because I never really talked to anyone about this until I reached the crisis point. That was the crisis point. And I went to try and look for help, because I was struggling a lot. One of the things that really got me to that stage, well, what stopped me that day was my loved ones. The first thing was my best friend, the memories I had with her, how much we've gone through, the memories, the great times we've had together. That one bit of light, something in me just clinged onto that, held onto that with every fiber of my being, because then everything else started to flood through. The memories I've had with other people, with family, with friends, with just people in general, started flooding through. So then I sat down and wrote down this piece. The reason why I'm talking about this now is I wanted to try and see if this could help someone out there. Just anyone. Because what I'm doing now is trying to be that person that should have been there for me when I was a kid, when I was younger. And it's not often you see someone from my background talking about something this personal. That's the thing, it took me a while to process my suicide attempt. It took a long while and a lot of help to try and understand it. And a lot of close friends, a lot of people, didn't really know about it until over a year later. I did an article, Bristol Post, talking about that. I guess the question resides what has been the most important part of everything I've been through? My close friends, people, my family, people who've given me the hope and drive to keep going, to still support me, to still believe in me despite everything that's happened in my life. I'm doing this because I want to see how this is going to be in the next, who knows how many years when I look back on this, but also to really show how far I've come, how far I've progressed and moved forward. Because despite those harrowing times, I'm still here. Yeah, this is about me, but also I want to bring in the people I'm close with, some very important people who have had an impact on me, because they have been some of my reasons for why I'm still here. They have been some of the reasons why I'm still here.